So this is where we go to the back end portion. We were in the West and now we're in the Pacific. We got two more series to cover, and we'll start with the now between the Vegas Golden Knights, which was the top in the Pacific. They've had their resurgence in the Golden Age. 51, 22, and 9 for 111 points against the Central Wildcard numero dos Winnipeg Jets. 46, 33, and 3 for 95 points. It's going to be Bruce Cassidy versus Rick Bowness. He went to Dallas, and now he's on the Winnipeg Jets. And Rick Bowness, he had this squad playing very well all the way up until January. They were in the top of the Central until they had slid down a little bit and able to win their back-end games when they had to, and their reward is the Golden Knights. So return to form for the Vegas Golden Knights versus aiming to prove something, and by committee scoring versus upset-minded. I think these ones are very apropos as far as the series, but let's get into it. The stats on Centerpieces: Jack Eichel for the Vegas Golden Knights, 67 games played, 27 goals, 39 assists, 66 points, and a plus 26. Chandler Stephenson, 81 games played, one of the very best face-off men that we have in the league. He's always about a 55% mark on that end. 16 goals, 49 assists, 65 points, plus 12. He always seems to get better every year. Jonathan Marchessault played 76 games. He's one of the longest tenured Golden Knights now. 28 goals, 29 assists, 57 points, plus 2. Reilly Smith, 78 games played, 26 goals, 30 assists, 56 points, plus 11. William Karlsson, no longer playing on that first line. He's more of a bottom 6 forward, but still very good. All 82 for him, 14 goals, 39 assists, plus 53 points, plus 14. For the Winnipeg Jets, it's Kyle Connor, all 82. 32 goals, 49 assists, 81 points, minus 11. Mark Scheifele, 81 games played, 42 goals for Scheifele, 26 assists, 68 points, minus 16. Pierre-Luc Dubois, 73 games played, 27 goals, 36 assists, 63 points, plus 5. Blake Wheeler, he played in 72 games, 16 goals, 39 assists, 55 points, minus 3. Nikolaj Ehlers, he missed about half the season. He was dealing with a multitude of injuries, but he's back now. 12 goals, 26 assists, 38 points in 45 games for minus 2. So look, I know the minuses don't sound too sexy on the Jets side, but when I throw those names out there like Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Blake Wheeler, and Nikolaj Ehlers, I still think that's going to provide a little bit of fear on that end. This could be one of the stronger wildcard 2 seeds to ever go against one of the top, and I think that there's going to be a good series here, but I'm going to leave those points just for a little bit later. Let's get in the premium defense. So the former St. Louis Blues captain, Alex Pietrangelo, 73 games played, 11 goals, 43 assists, 54 points, and a plus 13. Shea Theodore, 55 games played, 8 goals, 33 assists, 41 points, plus 16. Alec Martinez, he was the LA Kings legend, 14 points, plus 30. Brayden McNabb, 17 points, plus 17. Josh Morrissey, boy, has he had a great year under Rick Bowness and the Winnipeg Jets. 16 goals, 60 assists, 76 points in 78 games for the D-man. He's willing to deal with the best. As a plus 2. Neal Pionk, all 82. 10, 23, and 33 for a minus 12. I threw Dillon DeMelo in there. 75 games played, 27 points, plus 10. And Brenden Dillon, 23 points, plus 2. This is a back-end defense for the Winnipeg Jets as well. When you think about Josh Morrissey, he is one of the best setup men on that back end that you can ask for. And when you have Alex Pietrangelo for the Vegas Golden Knights, you also have two really good back end pieces that can also get the job done on both sides. So it's going to be very interesting in this matchup to see how the defense can transition there up to the forwards, or even just make plays themselves by cycling out and shooting bombs when you get in the offensive zone. I think a lot of this offense can come from the back end of D in the series, and that's what could make it pretty interesting. But for the goalies, Logan Thompson, he had a great first half of the season, and he was riddled with injuries. He was able to officially get an all-star spot. 37 games played, 21, 13, and 3 with a 2.65, 9.15 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. Jonathan Quick, I threw in his numbers between Vegas and the LA Kings. 41 games played, 16, 15, and 6 with a 341 goals against, 882 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. Here's where it gets a little ridiculous there for the Golden Knights, but hear me out on this one. They have 2 other wild cards as far as their goaltending, notwithstanding in Robin Lehner because he was recovering from double hip surgery, so he wasn't able to play all year. But I threw in Adin Hill, 27 games played, 16, 7, and 1 with a 249 goals against and a 914 save percentage. Laurent Brossoit, 11 games played, 7-0-3 with a 217 and 927. Laurent Brossoit has been very good. He's been very good for the Henderson Silver Knights. He's been called up multiple times. Adin Hill has been fantastic considering everything else. And Jonathan Quick, with his numbers with the Vegas Golden Knights, 2 of his shutouts have come from on that side, both with Vegas. He's had, instead of an 882, he's more toward a 915 save percentage. It's got a lot better. But it's starting to get the precipitous drop-off. He had a little bit of a warming welcoming over the last first 3 weeks there, but now his numbers started to drop off. And Logan Thompson, when he's not pushing the net off its moorings, against for the Flames fans, I apologize for that side, but that's what we remember with Cooper Hopkins. When he's not kind of cheating the system a little bit, he's got to stay healthy and stop pucks. And he's got to be the numero uno, but there's so many options if Bruce Cassidy feels like they need to go with another goaltender. On the back end for the Jets, there is no other options. You know what you got. Connor Hellebuck, the Commerce Township, Michigan native, 64 games played, 37-25-2 with a 249 goals against, 920 save percentage, and 4 shutouts. David Riddick, the backup, not a bad year. 21 games played, 9-8-1 with a 267 and 901 save percentage. Connor Hellebuck is as good as it gets. And when you think about Logan Thompson, he can be that same as the 25-year-old rookie. If he can play like he did in the first half and stay healthy, we could have something good. But Connor Hellebuck, he's going to get the check mark box for me as far as who I'm going to give the advantage to. I know that's no surprise, but I think Connor Hellebuck is at least a top 4 netminder in this league, and the Winnipeg Jets have a good backstop on that end. So here's the interesting part. When you think about this, and I accidentally put this in the middle part of this, and I have to move this. Glad I didn't mention that. Let's go to the extra man and the other specialty numbers. Power play, 20.3% for Vegas, which is 18th. That's nothing more than the middle of the pack, but for the Winnipeg Jets, not any better. 19.3%, which is 23rd. Penalty kill for the Golden Knights, also for Vegas, not very good. 77.4 for 19th. For the Winnipeg Jets, it's pretty good. 7th at 82.4%. Goals for Vegas, again, they're middle of the pack. 3.26 for 14th versus 3 for the Winnipeg Jets, which is 21st. Goals against, they're pretty much dead even on this regard. 2.74, which is 11th for the Golden Knights, and 10th for the Jets at 2.73. Here is the big X factor in this series. I know it's regular season, but we'll see if this continues to play out in the postseason on that side when they're away from T-Mobile Arena. Vegas is really good. Now, toward the end of the second half, they were able to start turning the fortress back into that usual impenetrable place to get wins. But on the road split for Vegas, they were exceptional. 26-7-8 on the road versus the Winnipeg Jets, who are just exceedingly average, 20-20-1. So, with everything that I've given to you, I feel like this is the series I'm going to go out on a limb, and I will give a bold prediction. I don't want to give Rock Chalk Jayhawk as far as every single one of these predictions and give chalk on every side of it. I'm going to go ahead and give you an upset special here, but let me give you first my thoughts. So for Vegas, it's kind of like Seattle with the 4-line attack. Bruce Cassidy can, whether it's the hot dog man and Phil Kessel, whether it's Michael Amadio, or some of the other pieces like that, they can get any other line they want out there and score. And they can look pretty good at doing so. Vegas can be a team that can be stifling, but they can do a little bit of everything. Vegas, again, as far as all their other prospects like Nick Suzuki, all that stuff is long gone. Again, they've sold their soul to try to get back into the Stanley Cup playoffs. They've done so since the inception when they lost to the Washington Capitals in the Cup final several years ago. Was it like 2018 now? On that side of it, it's been a long time. But for Vegas, they might be getting a situation where it was kind of like Nikita Kucherov for the Tampa Bay Lightning a couple of years ago. Spend the money on LTIR, be able to get Jonathan Quick, get a couple other additions there with Ivan Barbashev, try to bolster that team. But then, oh look, Mark Stone is back and healthy from the back injuries that seem to be long-term. So they got that money to be able to spend that, and then now also get their captain back, which is one of the best two-way forwards in the league. So the question is, if Mark Stone is completely healthy, well then you can go ahead and put him on that first line for Vegas, and it makes them all that more dangerous to be able to, as much, for as good as Mark Stone is, swing the pendulum of the series all one way. So that's how good he can be. And for Jack Eichel, and if he can get that same type of puck possession that he had when he was kind of a battering ram, and then also be a guy that couldn't be taken off the puck at all, if Eichel can lead, if he can continue to score some of those goals and be the puck-moving maestro and carrier alongside having Mark Stone, then this should give Vegas an advantage. What goaltending tandem is Vegas going to use? If Logan Thompson's ready to go, he's got to be number one on that side. But you also have, again, Jonathan Quick, who will likely be the backup, and then you have wild cards in Adin Hill and Laurent Brossoit. There could be a situation where you might see all four of those goaltenders in this series against Vegas, depending on the way things go. That is not a complete exaggeration to say so. They have a lot of options to be able to choose. But this may be a shock to some. I actually really like the Jets in this series. So the numbers are going to say what they do as far as the Golden Knights being more of a little of the pack and the Jets toward the back end as far as their goals for being toward bottom feeders in the league. But I still keep looking at those numbers in my mind. And I think about Kyle Connor. I think about Nikolaj Ehlers, again, who's returning from injury. But Mark Scheifele, again, did you even know that he had 42 goals on that side? I understand, minus 16. Pierre-Luc Dubois, who was a really good two-way forward, and Blake Wheeler. I've gone over those names. When I talk about Josh Morrissey in the back end for defense being able to drive offense, the Winnipeg Jets, no doubt, have to be able to stay out of the penalty box. Their minus numbers on even strength, it's not so great on that end. And they got to stay out of the penalty box. They got to be able to be disciplined. But those pieces that they have on offense, alongside the goaltending of Connor Hellebuyck, there is no question who has the advantage on that back end of the net. I think the Jets can actually do this. Again, I understand what the numbers say that they do, but I don't have any questions as far as that top line. Some of the depth, yeah, it would be nice to have Cole Perfetti. That would certainly make this a better team, but not everybody's going to be healthy all the way down the road. Connor Hellebuyck is that good. So who wins this series, and give reasons for both. So I'm going to start with the Pacific leading division in the sense of the leader in the Western Conference in the Vegas Golden Knights. It really is that simple. You still kind of run those same four lines like they did with the Seattle Kraken alongside the first expansion team, now the second youngest in the Vegas Golden Knights, and you continue to roll out all four lines and score. And you make sure you play your game, and you make sure that you give the Jets consistent pressure, because when you can give them consistent pressure and consistent contact against Connor Hellebuyck, eventually they'll be able to break through and find goals and do what they need to do. If you don't test Connor Hellebuyck enough, then Vegas is going to be in serious trouble. I don't care how good Logan Thompson is on that back end. If he plays like he did in the first half, this could be a completely different series where the goaltending can be just as good on both ends. But you got to be able to consistently test Connor Hellebuyck. Do you have a healthy Jack Eichel? Do you have a healthy Mark Stone? Does Phil Kessel, the hot dog man, get his little bit of resurgence in the playoffs and give you some key goals? Do you get the same thing from Michael Amadio? Do you get some of these other same things from Jonathan Marchessault and Reilly Smith? If you do, then that puts in a situation where Vegas can probably win this in 6 and feel pretty comfortable. But I'm going to go ahead and put my money where my mouth is on this one. I'm going to take the first big upset to many. I'm going to take the Winnipeg Jets to win this series. I think that they're going to win this one. I'm going to say that it goes... I want to say it'll go 6 games, not even 7 games. I think the Jets can win this in 6. I understand how good Vegas is. I think Connor Hellebuyck is that good. That is a 4-line advantage. All the Jets have to do, and they did this for a long time throughout this season, channel something. Channel 75 to 80% of that team that you were in January. Look, I understand how hard that is to do. And the Golden Knights are a great team, and the Fortress is going to be rocking. This should be a good series nonetheless. But I like those offensive pieces. Connor Hellebuyck is legit, as we've said. I don't think that you're going to have any question as far as who the goaltending matchup is going to be. And even if you test Connor on that side, he can get you a 45 to 50 save performance and only give up a pair of goals. And if that's all he gives up when he gets that much work, the Jets still have an advantage, not only win the game, but take the series. I'm going to take the Jets in 6. I feel like they're going to do this. If the Golden Knights get all the same type of production up and down the lineup and they can test Hellebuyck quickly enough, they can take it in 6. But for the same other reasons for Hellebuyck and some of the other same other reasons that I think the offense can be for the Jets, I think their numbers can be better in the playoffs. They need to make that push. It's going to be a tough task, but I will take the Jets officially to win this one in 6 against the Golden Knights. Series opener is going to be Tuesday, April 18th, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. I'm going to take a short break, and then we'll get back into the final playoff capsule. That is the last, but certainly not the least. It's going to be good.